Let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Oh, we're live. Cheers. Okay.
Can't cheers coffee.
Behind the Beard, episode 16.
Mackenzie made a nice cappuccino.
You did, actually. I'm just drinking it, and that will do. That's actually how I like it.
All right.
So, remember last week when we were kind of on a time crunch with
Yes,
the
we
20-minute...
Did we make it? How was the episode?
We barely made it.
Yeah?
I think the last thing that I said before it cut was like, ugh.
You didn't have to stitch together the iPhone footage?
No.
Was it last week?
No, I didn't.
Footage?
Yes, you're right. You're right. I didn't have to do that. But I just wanted to update you and let you know that it is because we filmed the entire thing in slow motion.
What?
That's why the storage was so full, because it was recording in slow motion. And we watched it back. And we were like, how did this...
But how does that work? Did we actually get an episode out of it? Are
We
you allowed
did.
to...
So, since the audio is separate, we salvaged the audio, and then Corey and Dan worked their magic and sped it up, so it ended up working out.
Are we in slow-mo today?
Yeah, do you actually want to double check that? Okay.
You're good over
We're
there?
good.
All right.
Yeah, because I was so confused why we were only restricted to 20 minutes. And it's because it was like lengthened. I think the footage was probably like 3 hours or something.
Didn't we used to do this in like 12 minutes?
We did. Oh, it was a better time for
Were we
you.
getting better?
No, or worse. Or more
Or
rambly.
having more fun or a bunch of nothing?
I think the latter. Actually,
okay.
no. The more fun thing.
Which one?
Yes,
Which one's the latter?
Well, you just said we're just rambling.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I think unfortunately...
Before we run out of time?
Unfortunately, no, we've got all the time in the world today.
Okay.
And there's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here we go.
The first being, your brother has now also pursued a podcasting career. Costa?
Really?
Yes, I just watched one today.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he had a one soccer appearance.
Yes. Doesn't usually make it to the camera, that guy.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I always give somebody a challenge, you know, during his, what is it, almost 3.5 or, no, not 3.5, 4 years at Forge. Try and find some footage of him.
Really just non-existent?
Doesn't exist.
Well, that's how they opened the interview. They were like, how many emails did it take for you to like agree to
There
be
you go.
on here? Yeah. So
How
some
was he?
competition. He was very good.
All right. Should I let him know? Because he let me know about your performance on
This
One
is
Soccer.
exactly why I wanted
Okay.
to. Yeah.
There you go.
I wanted to also return the favor and
Perfect.
tell him that he did a great job.
Excellent.
But anyways, there are some actual things that we should talk about.
Okay.
2 games last week.
Yeah.
2 more approaching in the upcoming days.
Yeah, we've been playing some games.
Yeah, seriously. It was funny. I was listening to your other interview also with Louis on CHCH.
Okay, yeah.
When did you do that, by the way?
Yesterday morning, I want to say. We've, like he said on the show, we've done everything there.
Yes.
We've done radio, TV, our own network here.
Yep.
He was at the Island Games with us.
That's so crazy.
He's on Morning Live.
He reminisces on that
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
He was saying how you had 3 wins in the past, I think, 9 days or so, and then you also mentioned that in the upcoming 10 days there will be 3 more.
3 more games.
So let's go back in time a little bit and start with Halifax, because obviously last Wednesday came away with the 2-0 win. You talked a lot about afterwards the importance of maintaining concentration and being mentally sharp so that the players were very strategic in exuding their maximal physical output.
Yeah.
So how important do you think that as a priority was in setting themselves up for success, not only on the day, but a couple days later when you traveled to Langley?
Yeah, so first of all, you know, our ability to keep the ball, which we're very good at, you know, is much more important in those situations. So it's not something we have to shift to it's not something we have to do new. It's we just have to do what we're very good at and do a little bit more of it. And be safe in the zones where we need to go to attack and to also make sure we stay away from, you know, those 5-6 lethal counterattacks that a team can have a man down. We've done it as a team before, of course. So, you know, those are tricky situations. You know, everyone, obviously you're at an advantage, but sometimes when you're at an advantage, the level of concentration can drop. You know, you think you've got everything under control, and that's where you usually pay the price.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about Ali for a second because he had that incredible one-time goal. A couple days prior, he had that insane assist, both, I think, on the outside of his right foot, so he's showing his talent there. I thought a lot about our conversation a couple weeks prior when we were playing the Guess the Player game, and you described him as minding his own and being calculated, and I was more... Hello.
Come on in.
That's okay. No problem, Coach Joe. We love special guests just knocking on the door every so often.
Just Coach Joe.
Shout out. But yeah, as I was saying, what is it about him and his traits that allow him to be so impactful in the center midfield?
I think the most important thing is he's calculated in everything he does. You know, he doesn't play off of emotion. He's really dialed into what his tasks are on the field, and you know that doesn't change a lot whether we're up or down. He puts himself in the right positions to do the right things and basically keep the ball moving for us. And that's the important thing you need. And to be honest, I just go back to the biggest thing. He doesn't play with emotion.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, because emotion can get the better of you sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it takes you out of position. It makes you do some more things, which there's positives to, but there could also be negatives to. And I think that's the steady part of his game. He's just a nice man out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems very level-headed, both on and off the field too. I wanted to also bring up one thing that happened with you during the game. You tried to take a touch, the ball came off the field, and you completely missed it.
The one that went under my foot. Yeah, I don't know.
What happened there? What happened? I'm giving you an opportunity to redeem yourself.
I'm going to say tight jeans.
Oh, tight jeans. Yeah. You didn't have the range of motion?
You got to make the choice there, right? Are you going to go make the touch on the ball and, have a wardrobe malfunction? Or just let it go? I remember now what you're talking about. Yeah, can't remember which half it was. Was a ball in the air that was coming? Yeah. And
it was just bounced right underneath.
Yeah, that was the one.
Okay, well, I'm glad we just established that.
I think we wanted to avoid a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
Not that I've had one in the past, but sometimes you got to think quick.
You did. You definitely did. Okay, well, now on Friday, obviously you traveled to...
That seems like it was a long time ago.
Honestly, I'm having a hard time recalling even Wednesday. It feels like so much has happened since then. But you traveled, I believe on...
Saturday.
Yes, and we'll talk about that in a moment, because I heard that was... Quite interesting, that experience. 2-1 win over that team. And we know that they play a very strategic style of play, less methodical, maybe slightly more chaotic in the sense that it's very direct and over the top. So how do you think the guys were able to be successful here, and how did they deal with that, I guess, imposed onto them?
Yeah, I think in the first 25, 30 minutes, I thought we were good, and we were playing some good attacking football, scored, created chances, created a lot of good opportunities, especially along the right side there with Cisse, Choinière, and Borges. I thought they were excellent in getting us into the box and getting us in dangerous situations. And it just so happens that even in the last games we've played here against the Vancouver, we make some simple mental errors in situations, especially playing the ball out of the back, and we started putting ourselves into problems, for no apparent reason. It could be fatigue, could be different things, and then, it's in the end you're happy to come out with 3 points. You're ecstatic for a guy like Matteo who's gone in there, a player who just works hard each and every day in training, and. Every year we have these guys who are doing a great job in training and maybe aren't getting into the lineup. Last year was Malcolm Duncan.
That's right.
And we see, his stamp on the team this year as well. So it's great, and it always helps the storyline that every player will be important to this team. And Matteo's given us an important 3 points to keep us at the top, and I think that'll be important as we go into the stretch.
Yeah, it was really cool to see everybody's reaction too, because everybody knows, as you said, how hard he works and being rewarded deservedly so. Afterwards, in the press conference, Dav mentioned that there was a 6-hour delay. I talked to, and I don't mean this with any connotation in the sense that it impacted you one way or another, because you've said it multiple times, every team has to deal with travel malfunctions. But out of genuine curiosity, what happened? Because Liam, your trainer, also said he took a nap while you were on the tarmac, woke up 2 hours later, and you were still on the tarmac.
Yeah, I almost had Nana and Palma at one point. He took a nap once we got on the plane.
Yeah.
And at one point he wakes up, and as he woke up, he turned around, and I was standing up. And he's just looking at me. I said, Nana, we're in Vancouver.
Oh.
And he was totally lost, because he thought we were there and we're ready to get off the plane, but we hadn't left Pearson yet.
Oh, so you're still in Toronto?
Oh, yeah. We're still in Toronto. We're still on the ground. But I almost had him believing we had landed in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're in the plane for, I think, a good 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Before you took off?
Yeah. So we were delayed for about 2 hours in the terminal. Then we got on the plane, and all of a sudden they couldn't get the plane refueled.
So they refueled it while you're on the...
So, no, well, yeah, they refueled them right there, but the best was the reason. So apparently there was a fire in the employee car parking lot, which happened during shift change, which meant people who were working on the ground were leaving, and the people who were coming in couldn't get into the parking lot.
Oh, because there was a fire.
So there was nobody to refuel the
oh my gosh.
The flights. Then, once they got out there, they realized that where they connect into the ground for the fuel to get into the planes, those had flooded with water. So they needed to bring basically, I guess, big vacuums to get the water out because of all the rain before he can get the fuel. At one point, our pilot, who was great, he was fantastic. You know, it's one of the first times you've had a pilot give so much information.
Right, he's just telling you
and
what's
he was excellent. At one point, I saw him putting on his yellow vest and leaving the plane. I'm like, our pilot's leaving the plane. This is interesting. So
where are you going? Did you tell
He came back, gets on his PA, and he's like, I just went for a walk on the tarmac to see what's going on with the other planes and who's getting refueled. So he was doing everything. And then at one point, I had seen Matteo and Malik walk to the front of the plane. Hadn't seen him come back. So I'm like, where are these guys?
Did they go for a walk on the tarmac?
No, they were sitting in the cockpit charging their phones.
Are you serious?
That is correct.
What a wow.
So
wow.
It was a WestJet flight run on a Swoop plane, which Swoop is not in service. So WestJet has taken over the planes, which means there's no outlets in the plane. The seats don't recline much, and there's no entertainment.
So you're just sitting in your seat.
So we were sitting, I guess, 200 people in a tin can. People's cell phones are running out. So we all know in this day and age, that can't happen.
What do you do?
We had 40 people on the flight who were missing connections to Hawaii.
That is, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, it was quite wild what was going on.
Oh my gosh, Kate, because that's funny you say that, because Noah told me that his phone died, and I was like, what's the big deal? Because you couldn't charge it.
Couldn't charge it.
Half the team was just sitting in these non-reclinable seats.
Yeah. So I want to say Matteo was panicking, and somehow he got into the cockpit sitting with the co-pilot charging his phone.
Like, what?
That is correct.
Oh man, I was gonna ask how you got all this information, but it sounds like the pilot was like relaying to everyone.
He was doing a tremendous job, and 4.5 hours later, we were up in the air for a 4.5-hour flight.
Jeez. Okay.
So we were supposed to land, I think, at 4 o'clock local time in Vancouver, and we got there around 9.
Okay, not bad. Definitely not ideal.
No, not ideal.
But it makes for a good story.
Yeah, especially after you get 3 points, it makes for a good story.
Yeah, exactly.
If you didn't have 3 points, it would not have been a good story.
We would not be reminiscing on it like this.
Maybe a year from now or two.
Okay, well, let me switch gears and talk about two guys that really have been stepping up. One being Jordan Hamilton, the other being Jas Kalila. As I said, we don't typically see them start, but we've seen them perform in 2 consecutive games here. Of course, Jordan with 1 assist and a goal, Jas with a clean sheet on Wednesday, and then making, I believe it was 3 really important saves in Vancouver. So how impressed are you with their recent performances? But 2, how do you think this club's day-to-day practices really set players up for success in situations like these ones where they have to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, 2 things. One is the strength of this club has always been our depth and making sure that we've got players that aren't, players you don't think about when it comes to starting 11s. We've got the hard job as coaches to pick 11 guys, but I always want players on my team that, you're leaving players off the pitch that should be playing. Second is, I think I've said this before, the way we train and the way we work with the players, it's there's no favorites, there's no starters, there's no subs, because each player is treated equally on the pitch based on tactically what we want to do. So when the time comes and the time arises, that player is ready to perform. There's no excuse. There's no excuse from the player, and there's also no excuse from us and the coaches. Saying, that he's not ready for this or that. We've got to have all these 23, 25 players prepared to play at any point because, everything changes. Everything changes quickly, whether it's an injury, whether it's card accumulations, a red card in the game.
Yes.
And, with the games coming very quick, we need everyone ready to go. So both those guys have stepped up very well. And that's not an easy thing to do when you're not playing a lot of minutes before, but I always tell players it's when that time comes, you got to capture it.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting hearing you say you always want players on the bench who should be playing. Because that's, I guess, how you get into situations like those ones. Okay, well, Jordan, of course, filling in for Kwasi, who was absent these past couple games. And today, we know why. It's been confirmed that he's making the transfer to Belgian side, RWD Molenbeek, and the Challenger Pro League. You were quoted in the press release talking about how his work ethic has really established himself, not only with this Forge roster, but just in the CPL more generally. So what's it like seeing him make this next step now, and how significant of a role model do you think he is to Canadian players looking to play pro overseas?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's a fantastic step for him, personally, and obviously in his soccer career to be able to do this, and it only comes through the work that he's put on the pitch, because that's why these things happen, and he's done a great job with that. He's been with his club for almost 3 years. In those 3 years, he's gained a lot of experience as a champion. Playing in Champions League, playing in a lot of important matches, and he's evolved as a player, and we've seen that evolution of him in 2024, going from a left-sided player to an attacker to a number 9 striker, and just seeing how all of his football qualities have come to the forefront. Him becoming a spectacular player, a player that we've been happy to have here all this period, and we're sad to see him go, but we're ecstatic for what's next, and that's the beauty of it. And yeah, he's a great example of a player who came into this league as a young guy, as a 19-year-old, and is leaving here a very, very good football player who will still continue to develop.
Well, with his time here, he's been able to leverage his career on home soil, and that's something you also talked about. What do you think that says about the growing exposure and quality of the CPL for him to have gained, his experience here and then to showcase it overseas? Yeah,
I said it before. I started here as a 19-year-old, and I'm pretty sure his first game as a professional was against Cruz Azul. He started in that match. I remember here at Tim Hortons Field, and we put him right in there right away. I remember him starting as a left winger, and you can't gain that experience if you're not a pro. And this league provides you those experiences, and it not only allows you to be a top level pro each and every day, but it exposes you to all levels of the game. And playing with Forge, he's been able to understand what it takes to win championships. He's understood what it is to play in Champions League and Champions Cup against top competition, and really be part of a club and an environment that strives for the best, strives to compete, strives to win, and strives to develop. And I think that's a great recipe for what we've seen for a player like him. So young players, it's a great opportunity for them, so long as they put the work in, because nothing is guaranteed, that you're in a best environment to allow your career to progress, and he's a great example of that.
Yeah, very exciting. Let's look ahead to York now. You'll be in Toronto a few times in the next couple days, the first opponent being York United. We know that you've been very successful against this team this season. However, they've kind of kicked it into high gear recently. They've got new ownership, of course, new head coach as well, and they are in contention to win the regular season title. So what are you expecting from them this time around, and how do you ensure that your side dictates the intensity?
Yeah, I think we've played them 3 times this year, and since then they've obviously changed the coach. But the players are for the most part the same. They've made a couple of additions to the team, and just watching them over the last weeks, I just think there's a lot more organization to them, especially in their defensive structure. Pay a lot more attention to being defensively sound. A lot of the attacking things are a little bit similar. Relying on a few quality players, and they've got some quality players in Brian Wright, who's done an excellent job of not only scoring but being involved in goals, and Mo Babuli, somebody we know very well from his time here. But the biggest thing is they've become much better defensively structured and defensively sound, and that gives you a better opportunity to win in this league. And I think that's what we've seen from them over the past, I guess it's the past 2 months. For us, we just need to make sure speed of play is good. We need to make sure that our energy is good in this game, because we know theirs will be high. We know it's an important match for both teams. We've currently pulled ahead, but that's something that changes week by week, and you're only as good as your next match, and they're our next match. We've had a lot of success going to York Stadium over the years. Mm-hmm. It's a field that we play excellent football on, so we're looking forward to it. It's a great game. These games are coming very quick for us, but sometimes that's a good thing, especially when things are going well within the club.
Yeah. What does your travel look like this weekend? Because I know you had planned on staying close to BMO, right, a few nights prior?
Yeah, so for York, we just travel in for the day. We'll play that match back here for training and so on. And then when we look at Tuesday night's match, we'll probably be in there from Monday night to train at BMO, just because it's a different surface we're not used to. Grass, but also it's not a stadium we've played on before as a club, so it's always something I want the players to be familiar with before the game. And then we'll be staying in Toronto, because we all know that although these two cities are 60 kilometers away, those 60 kilometers can take 3 hours to travel on a weekday, and at any point with the traffic that we find on the QEW. And last time I checked, there's not a ferry service, or we don't have a yacht that can take us from the bay,
from point A to point B,
all the way over. Yeah. So we'll be staying there to make sure that Tuesday is a comfortable day for us, treating it like any other away match that we have in the season.
Okay, I'll just give you one more on this, because I know you don't like to look any further than the one ahead of you. Yeah. But this was also a conversation that you had with Louis, talking about how this is another opportunity to reach the pinnacle of Canadian football. So what goes into the preparation, both mentally and physically, in these next couple days, maybe particularly in between these two matches? Yeah,
that's the challenge, right? So you've got a quick turnaround. You've got 3 days in between, and the guys will be coming off of an emotional and a hard-fought game on Friday night. So it's a quick spin around, but it's something as staff we've done before, and we've got a lot of experience with it. And when it comes to York, the focus is fully there. And once the final whistle goes on Friday night, we'll just flip it right to Toronto. Staff has done some background work, of which I don't look at until Saturday. I stay fully focused on the opponent at hand. And then on Saturday, we'll start looking at that. I've obviously got my opinions on each and every team that we play. But Saturday is when we'll first talk to the team about Toronto. The same way, we'll finish that game on Tuesday, and Wednesday it'll be about Pacific, because that's going to be a quick turnaround as well, going from Tuesday to Friday night.
Yeah.
What helps us here is these games all three are close to home. 2 are on the road. With York Lions Stadium and BMO Field. But those aren't too far from here. And then Friday night, we're back here at Tim Hortons Field.
Whew. So goodbye, York. Hello, TFC, Monday morning.
That's it.
Okay. To finish off the episode, Coach Bobby, I've got some footyisms, if you will.
Footyisms,
yes.
Okay.
And this is a term coined by Shannon Connolly, I believe, or at least in the conversation that I had with her, and Liam McPherson, I should credit him as well. When we were all watching the League One tournament a couple weeks ago, we were thinking of all of the words or phrases that are used within soccer and football culture that maybe some casual fans would not be 100% sure what they mean, but would probably have heard them. So
here goes.
We're going to try and do some translating today. I just want to get your opinion on what each one means in your books, and maybe update the people on what they should be aware of. Well in.
Good tackle.
Yep. Well, I guess, yeah. I'm acting like I'm the one with the answers.
Good tackle.
Yeah, so if somebody says, well in.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did with a British accent.
I don't know. I think it was more Irish.
well in.
Yeah.
Okay, get stuck in.
Basically, go in there and tackle.
Go in there and get stuck in.
Yeah.
Go in there and tackle. Okay. Yeah. Get on your bike. This is my favorite one. I don't think you use this very
No, I don't use any of these. But work harder, run more.
I see it as like sprint. Just go. Get on your bike.
Okay.
Okay, this one, I'm curious to know if you know, because I think it's an inside joke with Coach Eddie and maybe Liam. Danish bacon.
I have no clue what that is.
So apparently, lean back in Denmark is how you say Danish bacon. So whenever somebody skies a shot, and it obviously leans back. Coach Eddie has been yelling Danish bacon.
Okay.
You'll have to ask him about that.
I haven't heard that one.
Really?
No. We hear Cinderella a lot.
What?
It's when the guy hits the ball with his shin.
Cinderella. Okay, that's good to know.
Eddie's got some good ones.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard that one.
Yeah,
Danish bacon. I'm going to bring that up
Yeah,
tomorrow.
please do.
Yeah.
I got to confirm it. That's just what Liam was telling me. Can you?
Can you?
Can you?
Can you put more effort? Is that what it is?
I use this one all the time. I don't know if Jacob told you about it, but he mic'd us up in staff soccer.
Okay.
I said that so many times. Like, can you? Can you? Like, I...
Can you put more effort? Is that what you're saying? No?
So if I
Can
see
you pass?
somebody, if I see somebody thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, I'm like, can you? Like, can you do it?
Okay.
But that might not actually be...
No, I think that's your thing.
That's that's just my thing. Shocking.
Shocking? Oh, if a player takes a shot maybe 30 meters over the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I was going to say, I'd love to hear what you're yelling in Greek, if there's like some reoccurring phrases, but I think, as we've talked about before, that's probably not.
I'm sure there are.
You think so?
Yeah. Some reoccurring phrases?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
ones that are like appropriate for the show. that I don't know.
We'll have to come up with those.
Coach Bobby, thank you so much.
Perfect. Episode number?
16, but 17 next week.
Excellent.
Heck yeah.
This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smyrniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.